Good morning, everyone. I am Barb Good, and I'm your platform host today. And before I forget, we all like to wish Rhona a happy belated birthday. Now, I'm excited to welcome Leora Cash and Jay Krebs as our guest musicians today. Please stand and join in as we sing our opening song, You're Welcome Here.
I love that song. Thank you. Welcome back, Leora. Welcome back, Jay. I find myself occasionally at night thinking, da, 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 da. So it's really catchy. It gets into my head. So. And I wake Walt up. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of New Westminster on this gorgeous, gorgeous sunny day. I'm so happy to see you all and so happy to be back after a couple of weeks. I was at Unity of White Rock, oh my goodness. Unity of Vancouver a couple of weeks ago, and then last week I had the week off. And I know that you had lovely speakers with Janet and Wendy, and it is so wonderful that we have this wealth of intelligence and speakership that we can draw on for inspiration. I know I've heard several of you say, welcome back, it's lovely to see you, and I'm really glad to hear that. And it's also lovely to know that there is wisdom everywhere. And any one of you could come up here and share some of your life wisdom. And that would be a fun thing to do someday. Just saying. Yes. Walt, no. Let's get back, shall we? Let's get back to a reminder about why we're here. And that is that here at Unity of New Westminster, and indeed the whole Unity movement, the idea that we share is to give inspiration that you might apply in your life for full and abundant living. And we draw primarily on the teaching of Jesus because we consider Jesus to be our way shower and our example. And having said that, we also draw on many, many other areas of life, other faith traditions, other stories, other songs, life experiences, what's happening in the world. Because in all of our life experiences, we will discover that there is wisdom to be found for us. And so we celebrate all different belief systems, all different faith traditions, and we honor every person's right to choose their own life path. All are welcome here. All are worthy here. And we celebrate everyone here. Let's begin today in a time of quiet, affirmative prayer. As we bring our attention to this moment, we give thanks that we are on the traditional and ancestral lands of the Kakite First Nation. And we give thanks for First Nation peoples everywhere, for their love, for their custody of this beautiful land. We give thanks for the ideas that we will hear today, the ideas that remind us that there is one power, that there is one intelligence, that there is one divine energy that creates all. And we lean into the idea that there is no spot, that this energy is not. And so whether our understanding for that energy has a name such as God or Yahweh, Creator, the universe, the force, or whether our understanding for that energy is that there is no word, that it is science or quantum. We embrace it all because we are one in it. And each one of us is an expression of that energy at work. And so we tap into the idea that we are energetic beings. And from that energy, we send power with our thoughts. And with our thoughts, we raise every person with the blessing for love, for peace, for healing, for contentment, for reassurance that they are not alone. We are so grateful for this awareness that we are part of one and we are all connected. And we give thanks for our power to pray, to intend, to bless. And so it is. Amen. Barb is going to do the daily word.
Today, Sunday, July 23rd, 2023. I am restored by the Spirit of God within me. Renewal is part of the rhythm of daily life. Eating and drinking to nourish and replenish my body, resting to quiet my mind, and sleeping after a day of activity are all ways to renew myself. But sometimes those efforts are quite enough to sustain me. At times when I feel drained at depths, I may need spiritual renewal. God, the one presence and power within is with me always, but it is up to me to keep my awareness of God strong. When I awaken, I say a prayer of blessing for what the day will bring. Throughout the day, I feel God's presence all around me. When I prepare for sleep, I say a prayer of gratitude for all the day has brought. In God, I am renewed moment by moment, day by day. We look not at what can be seen, but at what cannot be seen. For what can be seen is temporary, but what cannot be seen is eternal. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18.
And I think we have lyrics too. And so we'll sing it through, and you just sing along with me. Don't worry about right and wrong. We're going to the unseen. You just sing what your body and your heart wants to sing, okay? God is amazing. God is so fine. God is so precious. This love so divine.
let's take this idea, God is amazing, into a time of meditation. So I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And if it feels uncomfortable and you'd prefer to leave your eyes open, allow them to rest somewhere gently. And become aware of your breath. Become aware of how powerful and amazing breath is. Giver of life. We breathe in, and in our in-breath we are nourished. And we breathe out. And in the out-breath we are cleansed. This breath which is invisible and life-giving. Take a moment and give thanks for this breath. And with every breath, allow yourself to sink deeper into your seat. Until your body is completely supported by whatever physical surface you are on. A seat, a couch, a bed. Allow that expression of God to support you. God is amazing. Imagine that God is everything. That God is the breath that seems invisible, and yet carries the power for life. Imagine that God is the trees, the expression of life that brings oxygen to our planet, shade and cooling for we who enjoy being out of the sun. Imagine that God is the intelligence of that tree. That grows from a seed and somehow knows how to find the light. That somehow knows that there is a season for growing and a season to let go and rest. A season to nourish oneself, and a season to enjoy. And now imagine that expression of God as you. You who began as an idea. You who had intelligence innate given to you to form and to grow. To emerge into this beautiful planet. To take your first breath. You who have the intelligence to know that at times rest is necessary. At times activity is necessary. At times healing is necessary. You are amazing. There is no place that God is not. Including you. You are an expression of creation. You are an expression of intelligence. You are an expression of all good. And in this short time of silence, I invite you to think of the words of Charles Fillmore, who wrote, "Your mission is to express all that you can imagine God to be." You are God in expression. With all the intelligence, all the power, and all the amazingness of nature. Your mission is to express all that you can imagine God to be. And God is amazing. Amen.
You'll recognize this song from years ago, driving around in your car. have a memory of where you first heard it. But it's got great lyrics, and this is a new arrangement, a new frame for its song, its words, its poem. Born free as the wind blows, as free as the grass grows, born free to follow your heart. Live free, and beauty surrounds you. The world will astound you each time you look at a star. Stay free where no walls divide you. You're free as the roaring tide, so there's no need to hide. Born free, and life is worth living, and only worth living 'cause you're born free. Born free. Oh yeah, that's right. It's just so. Sorry about that, Jared. Yes, you should. And if you feel like standing and moving your body, please do. Born free as the wind blows, as free as the grass grows, born free to follow your heart. Live free, and beauty surrounds you. The world will astound you each time you look at a star. Stay free where no walls divide you. You're free as the roaring tide, so there's no need to hide. Born free, and life is worth living, and only worth living 'cause we're born free. We're born free. We're born free. 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 Born free.
Perfect song. Have you ever walked into a room or a situation and there's drama going on and you can tell right away that stuff just happened? Have you ever been so convinced about what someone should do that would be best for them that you insist that they do it, even though they're reluctant to do it? Have you ever been the person who has been insisted upon by someone else? How's it worked for you? How have any of those situations worked for you? Not very well. when we try to insist, or whether we are insisted upon, or even when we are walking into a room and we get sucked into the emotional vortex of whatever is going on in that room, then that just proves that we are human. Because that's what we do. And it doesn't always work well for us. And so what I'd like to talk to you about today is how to stay calm and present and free in a situation where we are absolutely convinced about how some things should go, or we are absolutely being told by someone else how things should go, or we simply walk into a situation and the doo-doo has hit the fan. How do we stay free and calm in this place? This idea is called self-differentiation, which is just a fancy word that basically means stay who you are in the midst of whatever is going on. Stay free. Why is this a challenge? Let's talk about why. We all know these things don't work. I mean, I heard from a few people, even as I was saying these questions at the beginning, there was giggling and there was like, not very well. And yet we still do it. So let's talk for a moment about what it is that creates this tendency that we have to get attached to what somebody else is either wanting or what we want for someone else. The reason is because, as I said, we're human. And part of our humanity is this longing for connection. We all want to connect with the people who we are in proximity to. It is a natural human thing to do. And yet, we also want to remain independent and unique and who we are, separate. And so we have this push-pull polarity going on within us all the time of, I want to be with you and I want to be separate. I want to be connected with you and I want to be independent. And sometimes it's hard to know what that balance looks like. And it's easy then to get caught in giving too much or wanting too much or insisting too much or being allowed to be insisted upon and coerced. Because we want to be connected. We want people to like us. We want people to love us. We're afraid that if we say no, they're not going to like us anymore. And we're not going to break this connection. And so it can be complicated. And I want you to accept that that is just a reality of humanity. That we have this push-pull energy going on of, I want to be close to you and I want to be independent. I mean, we see it a lot with, especially when we were kids, when we were teenagers, how we all wanted to dress kind of the same as all of our friends so that we would be part of the group. And yet somehow we also wanted to be separate and special. And so this is the dichotomy, if you will, of what I'm talking about. And the German-American philosopher Paul Tillich, which he wrote amazing things, but one of the things he wrote is this: what is most characteristically human about us? It is the tension between the desire to be free, self-identifying and self-choosing, and to be related, to love and to be loved. And we have these two energies. How do we navigate these two different pulls on our longing? Well, I have two ideas for you. The first one is the idea of magician rings. Remember those silver rings that we would see in a magician show, and they, a magician would hold them up and they'd be completely separate, and then you'd put them together and it would look like one ring and there was no separation, and then he would pull it apart and they'd be stuck together, and then he did something magically and they'd be far apart again. Well, imagine those magician rings as us and others. And our goal is not to be separate, because that breaks the connection. And it's not to be so close to another person that either they eclipse us or we eclipse them, so that they aren't seen or we aren't seen, but rather that we are two separate rings with connection, where each one of us can be separate and we can remain connected. So that's one image that I find useful in thinking about this idea of self-differentiation, is these magician's rings. And the other one, which I just came across, it just kind of bubbled up for me recently, is the idea and the name of this talk, which is to share the road, to be connected as we each are on our journey, and yet to stay in our own lane. Maybe it was because I was driving on the highway recently, and there are lots of cars, and some cars are going too slowly because you can sort of tell that they may be freaked out by what's going on with the speed of the vehicles around them. And then there are others that are highly aggressive and just getting all over the place. And the goal is, when those things happen, is to just keep moving. But what happens if instead of just keeping moving, we have a tendency to try to move faster or get in some other lane? But I think of this as over-functioning, of doing too much. It's the equivalent of us with the magician ring of going in front of the other person. And what happens then is, imagine in your car that you're driving and you see an opening and you dash into it. And what does that do? It cuts off another person, and it prevents them from following their road. Or maybe what happens as you're driving is the traffic gets to be so fast that you get overwhelmed. And you have a tendency to slow down. And everybody else overtakes you. Well, if that happens, that's the equivalent of your circle being eclipsed by someone else or something else. The goal is my car sharing the road with other cars, each going at whatever pace makes sense for them, and continuing the journey. We have to trust that the others will find their way, and trust that we will continue ours. And so, to do this idea of self-differentiation is, this idea was coined by Murray Bowen, the late Murray Bowen, Dr. Murray Bowen. And basically, what he suggested is one of our main goals as humans is to define who we are to other people. Our car, my car, my lane, my space. To stay in touch with them, we're sharing the road. And even though there may be tension between the two positions, that we manage our anxiety when it arises. Not if, when. And there are some things that are implicit in this idea. And the most important one for me is the idea that we share the road. That there's an implicit understanding that we are all equal and have equal rights to the space that we occupy. And that means that we don't want people to come into our lane, and we don't want to veer into theirs. Let's think about what happens, what the consequences are if we forget these things. So imagine that we stray into someone else's path. We've already spoken about that or laughed about that at the very beginning of this talk, where as soon as you stray into someone else's path, what happens is you're going to get pushback. You're going to cut them off. You're going to stop their journey. And they're not going to like it any more than when somebody comes into yours. When we become too aggressive and insistent on what someone else should do, then it could be that we become very easily offended when they don't do it. Or we may cut them off because they haven't done it. Or we may go the other way and withdraw from them completely, like, okay, go. I don't want to see you again. And we may find ourselves in that place where we're losing connection. Rather than sharing the road, then we separate. It could also be that people come into our path and we underfunction. That is, we make ourselves small, and this is particularly true for my generation and probably generations before me of women, less so today. But the go along to get along, the be nice, the idea where we exchange our integrity in return for tranquility is something that I know as children, it was like, say that you're sorry to your sister. Go play nicely with your sister. Even though at that time, the sister may be the last person that you're sorry to, and the last person you want to play with. And so what we don't want is to allow others to coerce us to either be like them or to do what they want for us. Again, solid, free, unique, in our own lane. So this whole idea of self-differentiation, stay in your lane, share the road, and keep moving. What's the benefit of what I'm talking about? Well, the first is that we manage our own reactivity when we can be in our own free space. It means that instead of reacting, we can respond with responsibility rather than reactivity. It means that our response can be a springboard rather than a shotgun. It means that when we do act, we do so from a place of thoughtfulness, objectivity, intention. And that creates an area of emotional safety for us and for the people around us, because they know that if something happens and they come to us with a difficult challenge, that we're not going to react with emotion. We're going to react with responsibility. It's a huge benefit, the idea of being able to stay who we are and free in the midst of crisis. It also means that we are less likely to fall into that vortex of emotion, that room that we just walked into where it's crazy, the busy highway where things are going at speeds that feel wrong. What's true is about this interconnectedness that I speak about almost every week, is that imagine that we have a net, or even a nest, I suppose, but think of a net or a spider web, something that kind of represents a flexible container. And what's true is we are all part of this interconnected web. If one thing gets all heavy and frustrated and so on, the tendency is to bring everything down, which is why we get sucked in. But imagine if we could remember or be the presence that stays calm in the midst of this vortex, this weight dropping us down. Then our calm will have a tendency to help raise the situation for everyone. And what's true and what we know is that when things are in an anxious state, we don't think as clearly. People don't think as clearly. Decisions get made based on emotion rather than thought and reasoning. And so there's a greater benefit than just what is happening to us individually, but we can actually be of service to the entire system if we can stay calm in the face of the storm that is threatening to sink our ship, to completely mix metaphors now for today. There's a benefit because we help to contribute to functioning effectively. And so, how do we do this? I want you to think of this road again, and I want you to think of rumble strips. You know those, when you're driving and you go a little bit off the road and there's those things that kind of wake you up as you realize that you've gone into another lane or you're about to go off the road? Let that be a picture that is a warning sign for you of either you're veering into somebody else's lane and becoming a little bit too controlling, or trying to control a situation that isn't yours to control. And also If someone is coming into your lane, listen to the little rumble strips in your brain that go, he's asking me, they're asking me, she's asking me, the company is asking me to do something that doesn't feel right. So think of a rumble strip, because it means that you're in danger of either running over someone or being overrun. And then notice your tendency to engage, either to escalate the situation by going and adding to the drama, or your tendency to engage by becoming smaller and sometimes allowing someone to have their way, even though there's a part of you that feels like it's out of integrity with you. Gavin de Becker, who is the author of The Gift of Fear, wrote, "Watch and wait is better than engage and enrage." Watch and wait is better than engage and enrage. Sometimes silence is the best way to stay in our lane. Sometimes silence is golden. Sometimes not engaging means just acknowledging what the other person says. And the best example of this is when the best example that I can think of is when Jesus was brought to trial, and he had been tried by the religious leadership, the people had condemned him, and now the Roman leadership basically said, "They say you're the king of the Jews. Are you the king of the Jews?" And Jesus was smart enough at that point to realize that there was no dialogue going on. It's not like any answer he gave was going to likely work. And so he said, "You say that I am." He didn't engage at all because it was a non-winnable argument. And how often do we do that? Not me, man. I want to get in there and defend my position, explain my position, tell them exactly what they should be seeing, because obviously this is the right way, and none of it matters because they were seeing one thing, Jesus was seeing something different, and there was no discussion. So instead, he stayed in his lane and true to himself, simply saying, "That's your opinion." It's a really powerful idea. Then, when you're in that place, you become less of a victim and more of a, what can I do about this situation that can make it better, rather than why are they doing things to me? And so whether you are veering out of your lane or someone's coming into your lane, think of this rumble strip. And here are a couple of things that you can try. You've heard some of them from me before. One is, be a funnel, not a sponge. Observe it. Don't take it in. Keep on your road. Notice the crazy whatever they may be doing on the road. Keep on your path. Be a funnel, not a sponge. Also known as be an observer, not an absorber. Observe, see, notice, keep going. Think Teflon, non-stick. not Velcro, hard to get apart. Think rumble strip. Stay in your lane. There is freedom in self-differentiation. Recognize that there are other cars on the road and they have equal right to be there. So share the road. But don't let anyone cut you off. Don't cut anyone else off. Stay in your lane. Keep going on your journey. Diane, you're laughing. You had an issue on the Patello Bridge. Tell me later. Or you can come up and tell us now. Share the road. Stay in your lane. Use the rumble strips. And keep on your journey. That's my message for you today. It is the road to freedom, and you are born to be free. Okay.
Well, there was lots there. Thank you. I've been living that for the past 6 weeks with my family every day. Jay and I are so happy to be with you all again this Sunday. We're going to be back on August the 6th. I gotta say, you have a very beautiful fellowship, spiritual community here. I hope you all recognize it. There's something very authentic and real. And a lot can be done there. And you guys have it. You're living it. So, yeah. Many thanks. We sang this one, I think the last time we were here. So I invite you to stand, dance, whatever you feel. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me.
Announcements. Here are the announcements for this week. Our Monday meditation and prayer service has moved to a mixed format in person and on Zoom. On Meditation Mondays, we enjoy a guided meditation and we read the names of the people on our prayer list. Please join us on Zoom tomorrow from 10:30 till 11:15 for Monday meditation. If you would like your name added to the prayer list or you want to add someone's name to the list, then please fill in a prayer request slip and place it in the offering basket, or send us an email, or submit a prayer request on our website or on our app. Join us on Zoom on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. for Wisdom Wednesdays, when Reverend Rhona hosts a discussion about the previous Sunday's message. It's time to explore and share ideas in a safe and confidential space. The Zoom link is on the website, the weekly email newsletter, and on the app. And if you aren't able to join on a computer, you can also call in on a phone. A replay of the talk can be found on our website and on our app. But if you don't have time to watch the talk, feel free to join anyway. The discussions are enriching and enlightening, and no prior preparation is needed. All are welcome. Next week is the last Sunday of the month, the day we celebrate the month's birthdays with cake and a potluck lunch. Bring your favorite dish to share or just come along and enjoy the food. We have amazing potluck lunches. And after the potluck, please plan to stay for Cindy's Creative Cafe and karaoke. This event also happens on the last Sunday of each month. Several people stay to sing karaoke, and also a chance for you to paint, draw, sing, tell a story, or express yourself artistically in some other way. Admission is by donation. If you want to paint, the cost is $10 to pay for material. Here's your chance to connect with friends, share your talents, and learn something new. Join us every Sunday of each month from 12:30 to 3:30. All are welcome. Thank you, Cindy, for your inspiration. It's like a book today. And please mark your calendars for Saturday, August the 19th, and come out and support our Pride booth at New Westminster's Pride Festival. Ours will be announced later. In the meantime, please mark your calendars. For more information, please see Lyle or Cliff. Unity of New Westminster is completely self-funded by the contributions of our community. We are grateful for your gifts which support our ministry. Many of the community contribute with pre-authorized payments, and we are especially grateful for these regular contributions because they help us to remain financially healthy even during quieter times such as the summer. So if you're not adding anything to the basket, please bless it silently as it passes you. And as we sing the blessing song, please bring to mind something you're grateful for. We are so blessed.
goodness, are we ever so blessed. I was sitting here hearing the piano, hearing you sing, Leora, and I was like, yeah, we are so blessed by your music. Thank you. And thank you, Barb, for your platforming today. It was wonderful. And to Lyle and to Glenn at the back in the AV team today, and to Greta and to Cindy, who are here helping with greeting and ushering. And thank you to all of you for being here today. And I forgot to say hello and thank you to those of you who are online. Oh my goodness. So hi everyone. Please subscribe and like our channel. I hate to do the commercial, but apparently it's important. So do that, please. And as I was sitting here right after the talk, I was like, you know, I could do another whole week on the idea of the metaphor of the road. Because we don't know where cars are coming from. We don't know where they're going. We don't know what their dashboard looks like. We don't know what resources they have at their disposal. There's a whole life lesson right in those 30 seconds that I just said. So, and yes, Walt. For those of you who did not hear that, my beloved husband was asking when we can hit the horn. Go back to sleep. Barb, did you have a question? It's the same if you're walking. Not everybody drives. The same thing is true when you're on a sidewalk or a crosswalk. Wonderful point. Thank you. Let's move into a circle and sing our blessing song, not our blessing song, our peace song, and our prayer for protection. Thank you all for being here. Keep the journey. Stay in your lane.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Loved ones all are we. You are the light of God. You are the love of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God wherever you are. God is. Now we do we. We are the light of God. We are the love of God. We are the power of God. We are the presence of God wherever we are. God is. Yeah, we want to invite you to, if you do have a car, you could even, and you had space in your car. Jay and I are playing with some friends that we used to sing for years with, the Circle of Voices, at the Langley Jazz Fest. And from 4:30 to 5:30, we're going to be presenting a little gospel show at the little mini church there in Fort Langley. And it's free. It's today. But you'd have to drive there. You would have to stay in your own lane. And if you are interested, you could invite a friend and come too. Yeah. Yeah.